Welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
Gonna dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small,
Why, hey there, my fabulous listener. Welcome to episode 226 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Thank you for joining me back here for another podcasting year, and thank you for lending me your ears today. I know you have lots of choices out there, and I do appreciate you making my podcast one of them. If you are enjoying this podcast, then I would love you to take a screenshot and share it on your socials, and maybe even tag me, because that would be super, super cool. If you'd like to see the show notes for this podcast, you can actually find them at all the W's, socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/226. As you may or may not know, if you're a long-time listener, I have a board in my office that's full of podcast and blog and media release ideas. And the one that's been written around, completely faded, half scrubbed out, is the one we're going to talk about today. It's titled on my board, Post-COVID Check-In. Now, I know we can't have post-COVID check-in because the bloody thing just isn't going away and isn't going anywhere, but I'm going to actually call it the post-pandemic check-in as well, because the pandemic has actually finished. COVID, no. Pandemic, yes. A pandemic is actually classified as a widespread infectious disease over a whole country or the world at a particular time. Generally without a vaccine. We have a vaccine. Whether or not you choose to have it is not the point. The point is there is a vaccine available. So it's no longer classified as a pandemic. So anyone who wants to argue with me, then that's my justification for saying this is a post-pandemic check-in as opposed to a post-COVID check-in. So today I really want to talk about the business lessons that going through a pandemic has taught us. We are seriously unique, us business owners. No business owners, well, not many business owners are left that have gone through a pandemic before. Certainly not in Australia, maybe in other countries for sure. But of course, the last time we had one was, I think, the 1930s, which was I can't think of the name of it now, some flu. The Spanish flu, that's it. So there are some big lessons that the pandemic has taught us, and I know you would have some of your own lessons, but I'm going to share you a few that I've learned myself, or as a business coach I've seen my clients learn, and as a business owner, again, I've probably learnt myself. So here goes. Let me know which one resonates with you the most. So the first one is the first business lesson from that a pandemic has taught us, me, you, the world, is to have more than one income stream. Many businesses have really struggled and perhaps didn't survive only having one income stream, and that income stream just basically dried up. Perhaps they didn't pivot, or they couldn't pivot, or they didn't want to, and therefore their business just didn't survive the pandemic or has limped its way through the pandemic. So I'd like you to have a think about what your income streams are. How many income streams do you have? I remember many years ago my business coach talking about income streams, and we did a little exercise. In fact, you can do it with me now. Hey, let's do it. Grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, press pause, or if you're driving, jogging, walking and you don't have one, maybe just put your thinking cap on, or mark this with a screenshot and come back to it a little bit later. But what I want you to do is I want you to write down your income streams, and then I want you to put a percentage next to every income stream I want you to put a percentage of income that stream provides you. So your income stream, how much income does that stream actually provide you? So is it 20% of your annual revenue? Is it 50% of your annual revenue, etc., etc.? And then in the third column, I want you to put the amount of time you spend on that income stream. And maybe even a fourth column, if you seriously want to do this exercise, on how much marketing you put towards that marketing stream. So, for example, if you have a marketing stream that's 70% of your annual revenue and yet you spend 10% of your time on it, that doesn't kind of make sense. Or you spend 90% of your time on an income stream that only generates 15% of your annual income. So you can start to see where decisions need to be made. This is a really handy exercise. And if we go back to the marketing bit, let's just say, for instance, you spend your income stream is 70% of your annual revenue and you spend 50% of your time on it, but your marketing budget is only like 2%, then there is a real opportunity for you to grow that business or grow that income stream through putting more effort and energy into where more ducks are. Where the money is. What is it? Follow the money. Show me the money. It's a really handy exercise, especially to do this time of the year. And also, if you're super keen, go back and have a listen to episode 135, which is all about your 3 money-making activities. It's a really great episode to go back and have a listen to. You'll find it at socialmediamarketing.com.au/135. All right, second business lesson as from a pandemic. Don't run your business too close to the line. What line? The money line, of course. If you are spending as much as you are making, you have no financial buffer and you are more susceptible to hard times, headaches, and your business failing. I get it. If you're a startup, it's important to invest in growth, but you have to have a buffer, a small buffer that, for instance, could sustain you for maybe a month or two, so you can actually sleep easier at night. This was one of the biggest things that I saw in the pandemic, that I really realized some businesses, business friends, business colleagues, or just businesses online that really must have been running their business so close to the line. And again, I get it, if you're a startup, it's a little bit different, but if you are an established business, then please, this year, create a buffer in your finances. Open another bank account, put 10% of everything you earn or 2% of everything you earn, whatever it is that you would need to sustain yourself for a month or two if you went to sleep at the wheel or if you happen to not be able to run your business. Of course, the other way around something like that, other than a pandemic, is of course to have insurance. So maybe that's something you need to look at. Not an expert in insurance whatsoever, but sometimes insurance can help you if things start to go a little bit pear-shaped in your business and you can't work in your business anymore for an accident or something like that. Anyway, moving right along. Number 3, the third lesson that I learned, or I saw being learned during the pandemic. Business is about relationships. I can honestly say that my business would not have survived as well as it did, but for relationships that I'd built. I went from a full program of speaking and private clients back in March 2020 to nothing, more or less overnight. It was really scary stuff, and I know many of you will be nodding your head going, yeah, it was super scary. I had clients ringing me and crying and wondering what to do, to which I would say or do what I could and then hope for them as much as I possibly can and help them as much as I possibly can. But I would literally hang up the phone or hang up the Zoom call and cry myself because I'd lost another client. But relationships that I'd built put me in good stead to ask people for help, to get leads, to get referrals into more business. So if you aren't networking, then start this year. Online, offline, it doesn't matter. But your net worth is 100% relative to your network in your business. Again, there's a really cool episode to listen to about, net worth versus network. It's episode 71, socialmediamarketing.com.au/71. Go back and have a listen to that one. The fourth lesson of surviving a pandemic was know your worth and stay there. The worldwide pandemic created a beast. I called it the freemium economy. It's the worst thing to come out of the pandemic, other than the pandemic itself. I hate it. There was a period there, seemingly, where everyone was offering everything for free. And I get it. It was all about helping communities survive, and it was fantastic at the time. But it has created a beast. The small business owner who wants everything for free. They want tools, tips, tricks, courses, platforms, everything for free to help them build their business so they can make money. It's like the opposite land to invest and grow. You have to spend money to make money. And don't get me wrong, it was marvelous at the time, but the beast it created still lives on today. Your products and your services are worth what they are worth. Your time, your knowledge, your expertise is all worth something. So stop giving it away for free. If you are, of course. If you are still for that freemium economy, then you need to think about what that looks like in your business. You can have freebies. Of course you can have freebies, but just not your $1,500 course for free. That's undervaluing you and hurting everyone else who is trying to make money by selling what it is they're selling when you are giving it away for free. But it's not about giving away things for free. It is about knowing your worth and charging what it is that you're worth. A whole different podcast on that subject for sure, but it was definitely a lesson of the pandemic. The fifth and final one that I was going to talk to you about today was to listen, pivot, and know your market. Listen to your customers or potential customers. Listen to what they are wanting or what they're looking for. If it's not what you have, but it's in your skill set, consider the pivot. Listen to your market, like really listen to your market. Know your market. Pivot accordingly where you can, if you can. People began to hate the word pivot over the last few years, but for me, it's not only an icon seen in Friends, Google it, Ross and pivot, 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 pivot. It's annoyingly hilarious, that scene in Friends, but I do love it. But it's also one of my favorite business words. If you are in business and you're not prepared to pivot because that's not what your customers, potential customers, ideal clients want, need, are demanding, then there's a quick way. Then that really is a quick way to go out of business. If you are selling yellow bananas, but everyone wants purple ones, then why fight the battle and try and change consumer behavior all by yourself? Just sell the purple ones. There's a billion lessons from the pandemic over the last 3 years. Some have stung like a bee and will be hard to forget, and some will be life-changing in the most spectacular way. I've given you just 5 today, maybe the top 5 or maybe just 5 that come to mind quickly when asked what I've learnt or seen others learn during the pandemic. So what's your biggest lesson? I'd love to hear all about it. Get in touch in the Facebook group, the Like-Minded Business Owners Facebook group, and let me know whether your business lesson from the pandemic is to have more than one income stream. Don't run your business close to the line. Recognizing that business is all about relationships, knowing your worth and charging accordingly, or listening to clients, pivoting and knowing your market. I would love to know more from you. But otherwise, that's it for episode 226 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. In the meantime, let's hang out on social and get social on social. If we're not already, you'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I can't wait to see you again next week for episode 227. But whatever you do, remember, my small business peep, as my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.
No time like the present. Tell it like you feel it, say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you are. No point in dreaming small.
I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Yorta Yorta people, on which I record this podcast and conduct my business today, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend this respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here with us today as well.